For stale acts who've lost their steam, a repackage can be an absolute godsend, transforming the performer from somebody the crowd couldn't care less about to a star beyond all expectations. Kane became one of wrestling's greatest monsters after transitioning from Isaac Yankem and Fake Diesel, and Bradshaw would have never been WWE Champion without becoming JBL. WWE struck gold with these repackages, but it doesn't always go so well. Countless wrestlers have gone down the pan after having their names, gimmicks, and characters changed. And as the following examples prove, repackaging isn't always the shot of adrenaline it's supposed to be. I'm Andy from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 attempted WWE repackages that failed miserably. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to stay notified. Ding, ding, done. Number 10. Owen Hart to the Blue Blazer. He'll be remembered among the all-time greats regardless of whether his WWE Hall of Fame induction ever comes, but the final stage of Owen Hart's run saw him masked up as the Blue Blazer. He was a self-righteous goober that raged against the Attitude Era's risque programming. Owen was entertaining in the role, and the repackaging was something he reportedly wanted to do, but it felt like a waste for such a talented performer. Things eventually took a comically bad turn when the Blazer connected with Jeff Jarrett, and sadly, Owen was never as notable while donning the mask as he was while working under his own name. Number 9. Cody Rhodes to Stardust. Cody Rhodes performed Stardust with such zest that nobody could have known how miserable he'd become behind the face paint, but the frustration of being stuck as an undercard novelty act eventually contributed to his release. He first became Stardust while working with his brother, Goldust, in 2014. What started as a fun distraction soon became one note, however, and the Cosmos-obsessed character was left stranded in the midcard. What Cody has been able to achieve since leaving WWE shows how badly the company screwed up. He's one of the hottest wrestlers in the world at the moment. He should be on the sport's biggest stage, but he isn't, and that's thanks to Stardust. Number 8. Viscera to Big Daddy V. Some of these wrestlers went from lofty card positions to bottom of the totem pole after being repackaged, but not Viscera. Let's be honest, he's always kind of sucked. Big Daddy V was WWE's last attempt at rebranding him as a monster heel. A hired gun under Matt Striker's employ, he initially aided Striker in his feud with the Boogeyman and did compete for the ECW Championship at No Mercy 2007, but he just couldn't get over. Years of clumsy performances and that disgusting ring attire made it impossible to take him seriously. Throw the big man's complete lack of improvement over the years into the bowl, and you have a recipe for disaster that culminated with Big Daddy's release in 2008. Number 7. Devon Dudley to Reverend Devon. Separated from partner Bubba Ray in the first ever WWE draft, Devon was repackaged with a Reverend gimmick on SmackDown, drawing on his background as a clergyman's son. He became a hollering preacher who served as Vince McMahon's spiritual advisor. Alongside him was one Deacon Batista, who'd regularly interfere on Devon's behalf, clobbering his foes with a collection box. It was the kind of occupational gimmick tailor-made for WWE's maligned New Generation era, not ruthless aggression, and it tanked. Devon tried hard, but he couldn't get it over, and the Reverend shtick was abandoned when the Dudleys were reunited 6 months later. Number 6. Albert to Tensai. Released from WWE in 2004, career mid-carder Albert was a regular fixture during his first run, but benefited immensely from leaving for Japan, where he reinvented himself as Giant Bernard. He returned to Vince McMahon's empire in 2012, and WWE looked to capitalize on his Japanese experiences. Thus, he was repackaged as Lord Tensai and quickly scored major victories over CM Punk and John Cena, but the character soon bombed. Taunted by chants of Albert every time he stepped into the ring, nobody could take the former hip-hop hippo seriously. His winning streak turned into a losing streak, and to kill him off completely, WWE eventually paired Tensai off with Brodus Clay. Sweet T, R.I.P. Number 5. Tony Atlas to Saba Simba. Personal demons prevented Tony Atlas from reaching his true potential, but he's seen as a trailblazing figure for African Americans in pro wrestling, so of course WWE made a mockery of this when he returned to the company in 1990. Reborn as Saba Simba, he became a Ugandan tribal warrior. Distasteful at best and straight up racist at worst, he was accompanied to the ring by tribal drums, wore a headdress, and carried a spear, making this one of WWE's most offensively crass gimmicks. The silver lining here is that Simba was short-lived, and and as terrible as the whole thing was, Atlas credits this WWE run with saving his life. The poor fella was homeless at the time, and coming back into wrestling really helped him get back on his feet and sort himself out. Number 4. Jim Neidhart to Who. Neidhart left WWE after floundering as a singles act in late 1995, but returned just 7 months later, becoming the masked villain Who in the process. He wrestled only a handful of meaningless low-card TV matches, most of which he lost. Character-wise, he had no recognisable traits and zero direction. Who was created solely for Jerry Lawler and Vince McMahon to parody Abbott and Costello's famous Who's on First routine on commentary. It was an elaborate banter stunt, and the company soon grew tired of it, releasing Neidhart a few months later. Number 3. One Man Gang to Akeem. With his Hell's Angel attire, mohawk and imposing size, One Man Gang existed for one reason and one reason only: to beat up mid-carders. His career took a sharp left turn in 1998. Gang was repackaged as Akeem the African Dream, and well, let's just say things got a tad problematic. Gene Okerlund introduced him in vignettes from what the company called the deepest, darkest parts of Africa. They saw performers in stereotypical tribal garbs dancing around a fire, while the distinctly Caucasian Akeem delivered a promo in the laziest African accent you'll ever hear. The worst thing is that Akeem stuck around all the way until October 1990, when he was finally released, thus ending one of WWE's worst ever gimmicks. Number 2. Terry Taylor to the Red Rooster. A valuable mid-carder for both WCCW and the UWF, Terry Taylor couldn't parlay his undeniable skills into Major League success, and the Red Rooster was largely to blame. Dressed all in red, his hair was spiked like a rooster's comb, and he strutted around like a cockerel. Taylor, one of the most well-rounded talents in the company, was reduced to playing human chicken. Quite why WWE did this is anyone's guess, but things could have worked out much differently for Taylor had WWE gone with their original plan of giving him the Mr. Perfect gimmick. Instead, Kurt Hennig took that one, and his career worked out okay, didn't it? Number 1. Chavo Guerrero to Kerwin White. On a list littered with poorly conceived ideas, badly developed characters, and proper old school racism, Kerwin White stands tall over the competition. Chavo was struggling to get over after losing the Cruiserweight title in 2005, so WWE rebranded him, and they couldn't have made a bigger hash of it. Guerrero, a Hispanic gentleman, became Kerwin White, a stereotypically middle-class white conservative who drew a golf cart to the ring and adopted the catchphrase, "If it's not white, it's not right." Let that one marinate for a second. It was the kind of jingoism that should have died decades ago, but there was Kerwin, making suggestive remarks towards minority demographics every single week. It was fortunately short-lived, but White remains a prime example of the depths WWE will plumb for cheap heat.
Why would you look at that? You got all the way to the end of the video and your mother said you'd amount to nothing. What are the chances? While you're here, why not watch one of our other many possibly quite good channels, or watch another video which will be largely in the same vein as the quality content you've just